Anxious to step through the gate again, Major?
Yes, I am.
We all are.
Would you like us to bring back anything special?
No thanks.
Groceries, new outfit, flatware?
No, just yourselves in one piece, please. Dial it up. You safe.
Welcome to the Jumping Puddles podcast. Be sure to listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and or YouTube. And follow us at Jumping Puddles Podcast on Tumblr and Instagram, and Jumping Pud Pod on Twitter. And if you want to support our podcast, please check out our coffee. Hi, I'm Sam, and with me are my fellow co-hosts, Tor and Ash.
Hey!
Hello! The inhabitants of Atlantis begin to suffer ill effects when the planet's whale population begins migrating to the island city, bringing an unexpected harbinger of doom.
Dun, dun, dun!
I feel like we haven't done one of those in ages, so it's fine.
Yeah, pretty good, right?
I feel like I
sound
just
like
saw a
a
train
drawing?
wreck. Witnessing that firsthand was an experience.
We tried.
Anyways, welcome back to the Jumping Puddles podcast for episode 12 of season 3, aka Echo.
Woo!
Fun episode.
Very fun.
Such a good episode. I think it's one of my most rewatched ones.
As it should be. What a great second half of a season starter.
Oh, how
that's
true.
right. Yeah.
Starts us off right. Right tone, perfect mood. We came back to Atlantis after being kicked out of Atlantis, and it's just like a quintessentially Atlantis episode.
Yeah.
We're on the base. A lot of great character moments. It feels very much like a fan fiction episode in like the best way possible.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
That helps.
It's just such a beautiful episode. Like the lighting in this one, we get a lot of like soft orange red light. It looks so good, especially on Elizabeth, but and Teyla, honestly. Those two.
Yes.
Like that was just really, really, really nice.
And the whales.
I thought, oh,
Welcome back.
I feel like the only complaint I have about this episode is that it starts off cold open with this great tease of Ronon and Zelenka going off-world together, and we don't actually get to see it. It's so
Robbed.
mean.
I need to see them on a camping trip, honestly. I just need it. The possibilities. I don't know, man.
They have such a fun dynamic. I just thoroughly enjoyed every scene between the two of them in this episode. And yeah, it makes me kind of mad that like we never just got like more. I don't know. I live for like Ronon like interacting with literally anyone, and I just feel like the possibilities of him and Zelenka being forced together in certain scenarios just cracks me the hell up. And I also have to say bonus points for Zelenka's little explorer outfit. I loved it.
Absolutely.
So good.
It was a sleigh.
So good.
You're right. Ronon does have amazing chemistry with literally every character, which I feel like we saw and will continue to see this season for sure.
Yeah.
Instantly made me think of that fic that Tor recommended that I read so many years ago, the Canada fic.
Oh, yeah. So good.
Not to like plug it in here already, but that one is so fun, and I feel like that one's such a great exploration of like Ronon with like random side characters, like with Ronon and Chuck, and then I think there is a little bit of Ronon and Zelenka, maybe, from what I remember.
Yes.
It's been a few years, but he's just so great.
Very much so. And nobody can deny the amazing chemistry always between Jason and Rachel, Ronon and Teyla, but especially this episode.
it's actually everything to me, because it's not only highlighting like their emotional relationship, which I feel like is very like deep, and honestly I have a really hot take about that, but it's also like highlights some of like their funnier aspects that I feel like we don't get to see as often. Like they can be kind of like really silly and goofy with each other. It's so great. I love that we get all the facets of their relationship.
Perfect balance.
That is so true. We saw them banter in this episode. I feel like we never see them banter. We see like a lot of John and Rodney, obviously, but we never see like Teyla and Ronon actually banter. I'm so grateful that this episode gave us this. But also the episode where they're the scene where they're sparring and Teyla is just kicking Ronan's ass, and she's just like had like this shit-eating grin on her face. I like, yeah, you're 5'2". I just beat that. I don't know, 6.5 guy. Yes, good for her. We love to see it.
Yes, and it's nice that their dynamic isn't one-sided as well. Like I feel like Teyla can hold her own better than any of the boys on the team, that's for sure. And she is a little more in touch emotionally than all the other boys normally as well. But in this episode, we also get to see not only her be super strong and kick Ronan's ass and kind of be like an older sister figure to him almost, but we get to see Ronan's protective side of her as well, and his caretaking nature through their relationship. So it's very equal bond, which I appreciate.
Can I just say my super spicy hot take?
Yeah.
Please do.
Okay, how do I say this? I believe, and I'll even like kind of like lower like the bar. I'll say like top 3, but I genuinely think that Teyla and Ronan's like emotional relationship is like the most like well developed maybe in the franchise. Bold hot take, super spicy.
Ooh.
Hear me out, right? Let me just defend myself, Your Honor.
Please. Go
Let
on.
me take the stand.
Yeah,
I just feel thank you, Your Honor. I just feel like they're put in such unique situations, and I feel like just the way they're allowed to like respond to each other in these situations just makes them like stand out, and like their emotional relationships stand out. Like we see them be there for each other in such vulnerable places for the two of them, right? And like such unique ones as well. Like I always forget that like Ronan was there to literally comfort Teyla when John was being an asshole about her pregnancy. Like that is such like a deep like Ronan holding her hand and like joking and like bantering with her about that. We also get this really good scene of Teyla almost immediately in like his second or third episode when he finds out that there are still Satidans, and he like gets drunk with his friend and he's like basically breaking down on the bed, and he's like, oh, like there's more of my people, I'm not the only one. And like the way she just kind of like carries him in and is like kind of like there for him, and like there's so many great ones. I just feel like I can just pinpoint so many emotional scenes that I just don't think other characters and other relationships get that often. Like, if you want to compare them to like McShep, like yes, they have emotional scenes, but because they're like guys, you know, I feel like they're not allowed to be that vulnerable and that open with each other. You know, and even going to like SG1, right? Like I definitely will say I think Jack and Daniel had a really good like emotional relationship as well at certain times in the series. And Teal'c and Sam, also very underrated one, very sort of like there for each other emotionally. But I always felt like that was something I would criticize Stargate as a franchise for, that I just, because the writers are like so like, you know, men, no offense, I just feel like sometimes like some of the emotional stuff would kind of like fall short, or like they just weren't allowed to like be completely vulnerable with each other, where I feel like that is like not a problem whatsoever in the teyla and ronon friendship, which makes me so happy because not only is it just like it's like a guy and a girl. And I feel like it kind of really puts to bed the whole like, oh, guys and girls, they can't be friends nonsense. Or just like whatever. Like, if you want to believe they're like romantic, that's fine too. But just regardless, I feel like they have such an emotional weight and core to their dynamic that is so unique in the franchise. Anyways, rant done. Floor is back to you guys.
I completely agree, actually. I haven't analyzed all the other like relationships in the last 5 minutes now, but I think what you, or I think you said it, Sam, or maybe it was Tor, sorry, I forgot already, said about like it's not one-sided. It's not like teyla is in this is the one instance I feel like where teyla is not only pushed into the carer role, but actually like they're on equal footing. I'm so glad you mentioned the scene when she tells the team that she's pregnant, because that is such an adorable scene. I absolutely love it. It's so great. But yeah, and I think for a lot of the other dynamics, it's often a little bit more one-sided. I feel like I'm thinking of the Sam and Teal'c one. I think it's more from the Teal'c is comforting Sam, who's like having a hard time, which I love. I absolutely love that dynamic. I'm really like a lot. I don't really know for Jack and Daniel, but again, it feels a little bit that Jack is taking a little bit more care of Daniel and not the other way around. Well, maybe it's a little bit more equal, but yeah, I don't know. So I definitely agree that they have like this. Yeah, I just like that it's kind of even in their case, in teyla and Ronon's case.
Yeah, for sure. And I think part of that is like a natural consequence of the writing. Oftentimes they are unfortunately relegated to a sort of B plot or subplot in episodes, but they are together. And this togetherness, I think, really allowed the actors to explore their dynamic beyond the writing as well. Like, I think Rachel and Jason just have natural chemistry on screen, and they're just so, like, beyond the lines they, like, take and run with it. And, like, just the little looks they give each other during scenes, or, like, little physical things that they do with each other, even when they don't have speaking lines, it's just so, like, speaks volumes of the sort of relationship that Ronon and teyla have, which is just so nice to see. Like, really great acting on their part, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm so happy you mentioned like the physical aspect of their relationships. I feel like that's so important. I do feel like they have like these little moments that like we don't see as much with other pairings, right? I'm just gonna keep comparing them to McShep. I'm sorry, it's not a fair comparison at all. But just because like they're the other like big, you know, Atlantis sort of like pairing, I guess. But you know, like these bitches never fucking touch at all, like if they don't have to, right? Like they are so emotionally repressed and just like rah men, you know, like we never even got like a McShep hug. Like we were just like, you know, like little things like that where it's like we were just so fucking robbed, right? And they were just so oceans apart for whatever reason. But then you look at like teyla and Ronon, and it's so sweet when you just see like how much like they're like always like touching, or they're like, you know, Ronon taking your hand is just such like a casual thing. It's not even seen as like anything huge, and it's just like sweet. And in this episode again, we see them lean on each other, like when Ronon like picks teyla up off the floor when she's like seeing the ghosts. Really sweet moment. I think he's also like brushing her hair back, maybe, or like just like touching her forehead, like in the hospital bed.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's these little things that both Rachel and Jason do that just really add to their dynamic so much. And I will just say it right here and now: if teyla and Ronon are not in your top 5 Stargate friendships, I do not trust you.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I'm being gentle by saying top 5. I'm being like very generous. I could say like top 3 or top 4, but I'll rate it back. Top 5.
Since we're on the topic of them, I also just love, because I started to think about them a little bit. They have a very complex relationship as well. It's I keep thinking of the scene where Ronan kind of uses teyla or like lies to teyla and because he wants to meet like his former like whatever officer, and then he shoots him or something. And she's like, if you ever use me again, we're done. So I love that they have like, I think there was much more in the beginning, but like they have this rapport, and they have like she expects to be respected by him. She's like, and she's so clear about that. Like she respects him and she likes him and everything, but she's like, do not cross me, because like this is a two-way street. We're both in this, and I'm on your side, by the way, also as well. So I love that they have like these layers.
Yeah, the fact that she can articulate boundaries and is not walked over by his agenda. Like, she can stand up for herself and say what she needs to say, and he listens. I don't think he ever uses her like that again in his right mind in the show. So, yeah.
It's just so good, and I'm just so thankful for this episode because I feel like we get so much. Even though, like, we know we've talked about like other scenes and stuff, I feel like these are some of like the most iconic scenes. Like with like the two of them meditating, and at the end, Ronan coming back to her and being like, "All right, you can hit me with the stick if I fall asleep again." Like, it's just so cute.
Perfect. The
I love
perfect
those guys.
full circle start and end of the episode. Excellent stuff.
I'm telling you, it's a fanfic episode.
In the
God.
best way.
Shout out to whoever wrote it. Yeah, shout out to whoever wrote it. Like, they were just perusing on AO3, and they just like picked a couple things up, and they just like wrote an entire episode for us.
And another great thing about this episode in regards to teyla is that she is like the reason that the plot moves forward in the episode. Like, she's actually like doing something for the plot instead of just being exposition girly or like there doing nothing. She's literally like driving the episode forward in every way. So it's just emotionally and plot wise. So it's just so good.
Teyla gets to speak. Ladies and gentlemen, we made it.
Finally.
Historic moment.
There's a lot of good Teyla stuff. I feel like not only, again, we've talked about like her and her relationship with Ronan, but just like by herself. I love that Teyla is the first to start hallucinating these ghosts.
Yes.
I feel like there's something there to that in just like her relationship with the ancients. And I really love her like full-on belief that the ancients are trying to communicate like with them and with her. I think it's so like I don't know, it's so sweet, and I just feel like there's so much that you can kind of like infer based on like, you know, the Athosians and like obviously like their religion and like, you know, worshiping the ancients, and I feel like some of that is obviously still left inside of her, so that she is so convinced that the ancients are trying to speak to her, and she's so like willing to help, and she wants to know so badly like what is happening, to the point where, you know, it gets bad for her. She gets literally put in a hospital bed. And it's like lovely womp. Is that womp?
Yep, that's it.
what such an old phrase that we're gonna bring out again. But
Yes.
I just feel like it's the perfect
it's
like.
still going on, by the way. It's still going
Oh,
strong. Really is.
Really, I feel like I
Yes.
don't really hear it as much anymore. Okay, I'm happy
I
that it's
do,
still around.
But I might be like, I recently realized that I might be a womper, so.
No, it's literally perfect. It's like the best of like her comfort, right? It's
Yeah.
like her like stability, I feel like, is really like on display here. And then you see her in a hospital bed, and it's like, oh, this is so sad. Like, you obviously like don't want to see her in that position, but I think she maintains just like this air of who she is, and just like this calmness and this level-headedness, and it's just so nice to see all of these qualities that we love in Teyla just all come together and mesh for this episode.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, her mental fortitude is on display. Because we know she can kick ass. Like, she kicks ass all the time. But her, like, intentionally confronting these, like, grotesque and terrible visions in order to parse them and like try to understand and pick up clues so that she can help not just the ancients, but in her mind, but like also the team and the expedition and everyone living on Atlantis to figure out what exactly is going on is just speaks volumes about how cool she is as a character and just
Yeah, and how deeply ingrained it is into her to help people. I think that's what really comes through.
absolutely.
Speaking of though, I feel like we get some like good little like teyla ish crumbs as well, kind of like mixed in, which is like so nice to see, obviously. Because I just wanted to point out, obviously Taylor's the first to hallucinate, but I also love that Elizabeth sees them pretty soon after, and I feel like there's something to be said about the two people who are most connected to Atlantis seeing the ghosts first, and also feel like some about the two people that maybe like still have like somewhat of a connection to like the ancients themselves, like seeing the ghosts first, which is really fun. I'm just so happy to see my girls interact and actually kind of like get some stuff in this episode. I feel like Elizabeth got some little fun scenes as well. I mean, it's always nice whenever they bring out her like ancient language abilities. So I always love when they incorporate that because it definitely is useful and it obviously makes her like stand out from amongst the team.
Yeah. Again, I'm just so happy how pretty. I just love how pretty this episode is because we get some really really nice shots of them, also of them with Kate. I feel like this is the only time in all of maybe SG1 and Atlantis where we see 3 women alone in one shot. Honestly, and just them talking, which was really really nice. But also I love the scene where they're with Carson and he's giving them like pills so they can actually sleep, and he was like, yeah, don't take them until you can get 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep, and they just look at each other like, bruh, when has that ever happened? Which I think says a lot of just like Atlantis in general, but also about them, and just a knowing look. They're just like, sure, this is gonna happen. I really really love that. I love the acting between those two. It's really really fun.
I liked a lot how the episode also showed the similarities between. I love when they draw parallels between Teyla and Elizabeth, but I feel like they did that again this episode, just with not only the visions, but both Teyla and Elizabeth doing their best, even though they were feeling like garbage, to figure out what exactly was happening and to be as a part of the team and as helpful as possible. I also really enjoyed them being so resentful of both Carson and Heitmeyer telling them to just rest. It was quite humorous. That was great.
This is a side note, but it's kind of wild because I think on Atlantis the hours are longer.
Yes.
Than on Earth.
That's right.
Oh, the days are longer than on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So 8 hours of sleep is for a human on Earth, with 24 hours. So that they don't get 8 hours a night on a day that is longer than they're used to is kind of even more shocking. So I think they just like, they run on no sleep and heavy loads of caffeine.
Oof, terrible. Terrible, terrible.
What I love the most about this episode too is I feel like it just like radiates comfort in a fun way, where it's like, it's sort of like a low, I mean, not low stakes, because it was like, no, you know, Atlantis is gonna die. But I don't know, it's so nice, I feel like, to get these sort of episodes when you spend time on Atlantis, like exploring Atlantis. I still think Atlantis is just like one of the best mysteries of the show, and I just love whenever they actually like do something with it. And so I feel like getting to see the whole team on the base and in like different locations is so fun. And I think I love the inclusion of the whales again. It also just cracks me up though, because I was like, do you think the ancients treated the whales like dogs?
Like a domesticated? I would like to think
I
so,
mean,
yeah.
it would make sense. I feel like because just because what we see with Sam the whale, that sorry, that he remembers, like he's the first one to show up, right?
Yes.
And Rodney is like, oh, it's my friend. So the whale remembers his one interaction with Rodney, and the fact that he comes back first, I don't know, might have been an indication that the whales are used to humans or ancients and like to kind of have a connection to them, right?
Yeah, because like even the fact that the whale was like hanging around the jumper that he like was getting drowned in as well, and like I feel like it has some sort of empathy, or like it knew someone needed help. So so yeah, so I think so. I was just gonna say it was really fun watching Rodney. It was his project, like running up to Elizabeth and John in the hallway and being like, check out my whale, look how cool it is. This is the little picture of it. And then being like nodding and indulging. It was really, really funny. I love that scene so much.
I love his little his little pictures and his little like visualizations on his tablet. They crack me up all the freaking time. They're just so fun. I just love little sci-fi details like that.
Even at the end of the episode too, when he's like yelling at John about like how close they're gonna be to the radiation, and he's like stabbing his tablet pencil into the tablet. So good. The physical acting, again, tops.
Yeah.
He's such an iPad kid. Him and Zelenka.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
They're addicted to their little iPads.
They are.
But I was gonna say, can we just talk about Caldwell for a second? Straight up advising Elizabeth to bomb the whales.
What the
Sir.
fuck? Why is he always going for the most evil option in every episode?
He's such a cartoon villain. Like, girl, but the whales, leave them alone.
I love that everyone is just like, no, just no. I mean, he's kind of weird, but also, I want to mention that John just suggests eating the whales.
Oh yeah.
So
That's even more
he always just
They're idiots, Your Honor.
strange
Yeah.
and disturbing.
very disturbing. Why does he want to eat everything? Anyways,
See, I forgive
what the
John
hell?
because he's like a little freak about it. You know what I mean? Like, I always expect him to say something sort of freaky and out of pocket.
Yeah.
But like Caldwell, it's also really funny to me how like the obvious bastion of military and like structure and authority is so beloathed both by audience and Atlantis expedition. They're always like, yeah, no, we're not listening to you.
Yeah. True. Very true.
Also, does this count as a deadless ex-machina, or what? How are we ruling this?
Well,
Yeah.
kinda.
Yeah, I think we can.
Yeah.
I mean, the daedalus was there for the whole, or at least most of the episode, right? So they didn't come in last second, but they were the last, like, resort that they... Yeah. But I feel like, it was, but I feel like there weren't that many daedalus ex machinas, right?
No.
Not as bad as we were afraid of.
Yeah, it could have definitely been worse, but I think for me, it was more like just having them. Sometimes I feel like kind of took the tension away, right, from certain things where it was like, you know, we can always fall back on the deadless getting us out. Even though they didn't use that card very often, which again, I appreciate a lot. I just feel like just the possibility of like, oh, the deadless might just pop up at the end of an episode, I feel like did kind of steal away the stakes. Whereas like if we didn't have the deadless as like a safety net, it would have been like extra tension if we still like weren't in contact with Earth or whatever. It would have been just another level of immersion. But we've complained about that so much, so we'll let that slide this time.
Speaking of John being an out-of-pocket little freak, him reacting, or should I say nodding in approval at the whale's member was crazy. What was the reason? Why?
Literally arrest him. Get this man. He's such a weirdo.
He's very special.
Meanwhile, Elizabeth having the only like normal reaction, being like, "Yeah, okay, got it, thanks."
Not wanting to look at it.
I mean, she's a lesbian, so
Exactly.
There you go.
Valid.
yeah.
Speaking of John, though, I really enjoyed all the mixed chat moments. Literally so freaking cute.
Yeah, like I just love him getting in on the silly. I love when they like act like kids and they get to do like silly fun things because there's so much seriousness and like tension and stakes. So like when they get to just be like, "Oh yeah, whale watching sounds fun, let's go," and be silly, it's just so good.
It's funny that you say that they may act like kids because I literally wrote down that when they try, like after they got like their eardrums busted and like they in a sick bay and they want to leave, they're such children. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna," like yelling, "We're just gonna, we're fine, we're good, we're just gonna check this out." And Elizabeth is like, "No, go back to bed." They were such idiots, but it was so fun to watch. And yeah, them just yelling. John trying to get Rodney's attention by like saying stuff that would make him angry, calling him Meredith, I think. Amazing. Saying that, didn't he say something about Celine Dion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rodney likes Celine Dion.
I guess so.
Yeah, I feel like I can see it.
I can
Play
totally
the
see it.
Titanic soundtrack, he's gone.
Yeah, he's crying.
balling.
I was gonna make a comment about how it fits him liking whales, but it doesn't really fit because like, Titanic has nothing to do with whales, but it has to do with the sea, so there's an affinity
Close.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
close enough. How do we feel about Rodney calling the whale Sam?
Honestly, for me, I took it kind of funny, in the sense that like, I love how now all of a sudden he's more like, thankful for her, and like when it wasn't even her, rescue, like it wasn't even her that came and like saved him and like thought of whatever. He's more respectful of her intellect, or like more thankful for her, than when he actually should have been to her face. And I also like it because John gets kind of mad and is like, "Well, I thought I rescued you, me and Zelenka. What the hell?" It is a little bit weird. But I chuckled a bit.
I thought it was kind of a mistake that he called him Sam, like he didn't mean to, but then he said, "Oh, Sam rescued me," and they're like, "What? Wait, what?" Like in the episode, Grace Under Pressure, and he was like, "Oh, the whale," or whatever. So, and he kind of then kept that going, but then he made it weird by saying that he named the whale after Sam Carter.
Right.
Which I like, I don't know. To me it's weird, but because he like kept for so long, like he kept being weird to and about her for so long. But maybe it's his way of showing something. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like just because they've like run that joke so fucking far into the ground, a joke is in parentheses, by the way, of like Rodney being a freak to Sam, that like this comes off as weird when it's honestly like the least like problematic thing he's done to her. Like,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be weird, but it's weird because they've made it weird for years. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what their fixation was with the Rodney and Sam dynamic. It baffles me to this day. And I wonder how the actors felt. I feel like I don't know what. I feel like they've never really talked about it, or like at least to my knowledge, I don't know exactly what they've said. But I feel like
I also don't really know how they feel about it, but I feel like in retrospective, a lot of the actors or what happened on the show is kind of not seen as problematic. Like, I feel like Pete, for example, in SG1, walking red flag.
Yeah.
It's never really. I don't feel like it's addressed by the actors how problematic it was, or if it is, it's more like drawn into like the comedic, which I think is a little bit problematic. And same with the guy who played Major or Sergeant Barrett or something, the guy of the whatever, who also has a crush on her, on Sam. And I don't know if Amanda talked about it, how she felt about. And I feel like that's a feeling that we can cut this, but that's a feeling that I sometimes get when like actors talk about shows that they did a long time ago. They kind of like keep in the feeling of that time, and they don't like. I feel like sometimes they do reflect on what's happening there, but oftentimes they also don't really, and they just like. They're just in their memories, and they're mostly good memories because maybe from the set and it was fun to play, and just to like act with certain actors, because I think, I don't know actually, but I can imagine that Amanda and David got along, or that it was kind of fun to be on screen together because like of their like messed up dynamic. I don't know, but yeah, that's interesting.
yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I do feel like I don't know, maybe I'm like just like being wishful, but I feel like I get the vibe that maybe like David Hewlett was maybe sometimes uncomfortable with some things. I feel like maybe I feel like I really wonder what his thoughts are on his little cameo in Atlantis where he's like being all weird with James, like Vanessa James. He's like talking about like her breasts and just I don't know, it's just weird. So like I feel like
In universe, you mean?
Yeah, universe. I don't know if I mentioned that. Yeah, in Stargate Universe, where he makes a little cameo. I feel like maybe there. But I do feel like, yeah, what Ash was saying, because they were having such a fun time on set, especially I feel like I always see like pictures of like Amanda and David Hewlett like goofing off.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe like in the moment they were just like, ah, whatever, fuck it, like this is fun just because we get to like be in the same room and like, you know, like get to act and get to mess around. But yeah, it's just uncomfortable. I mean, I think we've talked about this all the time, but like obviously I just wish they left that joke in SG1. The second they decided to make Rodney like an actual fleshed out character with like different sides to him, they should have completely cut out that joke. Because it's unfortunate that a lot of people, definitely less as the years have gone by, but a lot of people like, you know, will not give Atlantis a chance because of like Rodney's actions to Sam, which is like fair, kinda. It just sucks that like there's like this stain on Rodney as a character, that other people like really dislike him as well, just because of the things he's done to Sam, even after seeing Atlantis, which again, fair, but again, it just sucks because I think there is more to his character, and there's like, he's such a, sorry, this is like going off to like a huge rant, but I feel like Rodney is such a unique personality that we don't really see on TV anymore, right? I feel like they don't really try to, I want to say like challenge the viewer sometimes to like someone, really. I would say like he's such an anomaly in TV. And so it sucks that like there's such a big stain and stigma on his legacy, because I think the fact that Atlantis makes you like him and like sympathize with him and like genuinely see like he has a good heart buried underneath like insecurity and like his arrogance and stuff, it's just so well done. And it's just like, oh, but this Sam nonsense always has to rear its ugly head, and it's like, get out of here. It's not funny. It wasn't funny. And they're like beating the fucking dead horse. And like that misogyny and like creepy behavior is like laced in his DNA, which is just not my Rodney. Hashtag not my Rodney.
I know. I totally agree, and also I think it's worse. So I understand that people don't want to get into Atlantis because of Rodney, but I know that some people just watch season 4 for Sam or Amanda because they love her. Which again, I get. She was my favorite character on SG1 as well. I might have done this as well if I hadn't, like, if I wasn't a completionist and wanted to watch it all the way through. And I was really excited to get to her season. But I think that makes it worse. Because, like, if you start with season 4, first of all, bad idea, don't do that. Then you don't see the character progression, the change in Rodney. You don't, like, obviously here we analyze everything to death. But like, we talked a lot about Rodney and why he fits into Atlantis and not into SG1. Actually, like, this podcast made me like Rodney more and appreciate him more. And you don't have that. You don't have the 3 years of him being in Atlantis and being part of the team and the family. And then you get to season 4 and he's being a complete dick again because the writers just couldn't let it rest. Because they had to bring it up again and made it weird again in the beginning when Sam arrives. So you leave SG1 with like this terrible image of Rodney, which he was supposed to be, like he was supposed to be a dick in SG1. And then you go into Atlantis season 4 and you see him exactly like that again, like forgetting everything that happened before, and then of course you don't like him. I'm not saying that you have to like him, but like, it's, yeah.
We're not there yet on the show, thankfully, but I think we're going to start getting to the point where he kind of starts becoming a caricature of himself. And like a very self-inserty or like obviously self-inserty sort of character for the writers, which is unfortunate because I think we are losing the recipes, we are losing the sauce, and I think characters with nuance we don't really have a lot in modern media. And if they do exist, people are like, well, why do they exist? They shouldn't exist. And then they don't even get to go through like a whole character journey before they're getting canceled. You know what I mean? So it's like, these are not real people. And I do think we need to give real people the space to learn and grow as well. But that's a whole other story. But yeah, I just, not my favorite bit of Rodney characterization.
Yeah, you brought up a really good point. I feel like just about how we're losing the recipe, and people are so quick to like cancel a character before the journey sort of like even is halfway done. They wouldn't, if you think about it today, right? Rodney would have never been on Atlantis. They would have never put him on Atlantis.
It would have been like, it would have been poisonous or seen as like you're killing the show before it even airs because no one is gonna like that. Yeah.
Oh, one thing that I wanted to add earlier but forgot is that an argument to support us thinking, I guess now, that the ancients treated the whales as dogs or like pets, is that they did try to communicate with them. They tried to build a machine that made them talk to them.
Right.
So I think like, they actually tried that, and I think they should have continued the research, and I think they should continue the research now on Atlantis so they can get Sedge to talk to Elizabeth when she eventually comes to Atlantis.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Please. I think I did have one thing, though. One little minor complaint is I just feel like we never end the episode on, like, a fun team thing. And it's kind of making me mad at this point. it kind of feels like they hate giving us team stuff. And I am mad. I feel like this, out of all the episodes, I'm not saying I love that we end on like the Teyla and Ronon thing and coming full circle, but if we could have just had like an extra 20-second or 30-second scene of, I don't know, the team all watching a movie together. What happened to their movie nights? Can we go back to that? Or the team having lunch out in the patio or something? Like, I don't know. I miss having these little team scenes. I will always say that while I think Atlantis did a really good job developing like relationships, like one-on-one or, you know, stuff like that, I feel like I'm always wanting more of like the team as a whole. That's one thing I will say that I think SG1 did a good job of.
Yeah, I think that's also what I criticize a tiny bit about the episode, that they again, like, they did a good job this time with the pairing off, but they still paired people off. Like, we had once again, we had John and Rodney, and once again, Teyla and Ronon. And we talked about it, we love, like, what they did with Teyla and Ronon in this episode was amazing, because it moved the plot along, like, especially Teyla and stuff. But still, it was there present, and it would have been nice to at least have them in the end all together, and kind of, like, being like, huh, what a day, right? Whatever, it's just like, oh, just another Tuesday in the Pegasus Galaxy.
Well, yeah, considering
what whale watching together.
Yeah, and like considering what was going on in the episode, like Teyla was obviously not feeling good, and then John and Rodney had their little ear blasting explosion thing happen, so they could all be like, "Oh, how are you feeling? Like, how are you doing now?" Be nice just to like catch up and bring everyone together, because everyone had a part to play in the episode. I would just like to see them all come together in the end, for sure.
Yeah, especially like let's mix it up, guys. Let's do like some like John and Ronon, or, you know, even John Teyla, John Elizabeth. Like, let's get some like Ronon Elizabeth, Ronon Teyla, like, or sorry, Rodney Teyla would have been nice. Or Rodney was, you know, just like let's like mix up some of these dynamics. I do feel like sometimes they get kind of stuck in the pairings. And so those pairings feel very developed, as opposed to like the team as a whole, or just like other friendships in the team.
Oh yeah, once we get to Tao, I'm definitely gonna be talking about that a lot, because I feel like that episode kind of addresses that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we finished. I think that's it. Nice, which means we can go to Ash for the bechdel test.
Yeah, so this episode passes with flying colors.
Yay!
The episode it passes best. Which is weird because like it's a pass-fail, but still, like, oh my gosh, we could even like heighten the bar a tiny bit, raise the bar. That's what we call it. Yeah, but no. Great episode for women. We didn't talk about Kate a lot, but Kate was there too, and she helped also, like, with the bechdel test.
Woo! We take the wins here. Perfect. Which means we can head back to me for some really quick behind the scenes. This episode was directed by Will Waring, with the story by Carl Binder and Brad Wright, and the teleplay by Carl Binder. Which I did really want to mention Will Waring really quick, because he started off as a camera operator on a lot of SG1, like 60 episodes, which was really cool. And he even was a camera operator for A Dog's Breakfast.
Oh my god!
Yeah, before he started moving up the ranks, and he got to direct a few episodes of SG1 and a few episodes of Atlantis and Universe, and he continued to hone his skills. He even did some work on Travelers before he ended up being a camera director for some of the dragons on Game of Thrones.
What?
Damn!
That's wild.
Yes, and he was even the second or assistant director on both It movies.
Oh, wow. That's wild.
So shout out to Will Waring.
Good for him, because those movies look great.
I love seeing our like Stargate like family actually like doing some cool stuff in the real world
Alumni.
past the show's end. So that's really great. Let's see. Girl Finder's daughter ended up contributing in a massive way to this episode because she's a proud owner of a PhD in astronomy. And she ended up providing insights and information and just little tips to help make the story as believable as possible when it comes to the science and the science fiction of the show.
Oh, I love that.
Shout out to women in STEM!
Woo woo.
Put in the science and science fiction.
According to Joe Malazzi, there was also some really heated debates over the whales. So, in a later episode, the planet comes under threat, and they obviously were thinking that Atlantis is going to abandon the planet. However, Robert Cooper hated the idea because they put so much damn effort into saving the whales in this episode, and he was like, we cannot leave these fucking whales. So after much heated discussion, Joe offered a creative solution. Since these were alien whales, we had no idea of knowing what type of defense systems they possess. So what if, as Atlantis is flying away, they pick up movement on their short-range sensors, and they see that the winged whales are sailing out of the water and flying away in search of another world. However, that sadly did not make the final cut. So we just leave the whales, I think. Or I'm not sure if we mentioned something about the whales, but we'll have to see that in another episode. But
Well, my headcanon is that they did have wings and they flew away.
They definitely did. I just imagine like Atlantis flying and then having like a huge flock of whales.
That's
behind them.
sick.
so cool.
That's so cool.
We were
Someone
robbed.
draw this. Sorry.
Yeah.
Lastly, in Russian, this episode is titled Mirages. In French, it's titled The Song of the Whales. And in Japanese, it's
Aw.
titled SOS from the Deep Sea.
That's cute.
Which I actually love the Japanese title. I think that's so fun.
Yeah.
SOS. Like, I don't know, it just adds like a little extra kick.
Oh my god, now I'm thinking of the ABBA song. I just...
Yes. Absolutely yes. And there you go. Do we have a Fic Corner?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do.
Let's, woo!
Okay. Let's see if my memory serves me for this. Okay. All right. So, in keeping with the spirit of Wales, we have A Clear and Different Light by Nay and Sholio. I really love all of Sholio's Stargate Atlantis works, mostly Jen, Fic, which is great. This one is, I'm not normally an AU person, but this one is a fantasy AU in which Rodney is raised by a pod of telepathic whales. Yeah. John is part fairy. Teyla is a scientist. And Ronon is, of course, a fantasy soldier. And so Atlantis, instead of being like, well, Atlantis is pretty much still Atlantis. It's a way station. And they all kind of end up in Atlantis and are embroiled in this war against an age-old enemy. Who could that enemy possibly be? This AU is just really epic and fun. It's very long. But if you really love the whole whales and whales communicating with the Atlantis expedition, you will love this fic. For sure. Also in keeping with the spirit of the episode in terms of Ronon and Teyla's relationship, I have Ronon definitely does not have feelings by Obsessive Explosion. So basically, Teyla takes Ronan on a hunting trip, but things become a little bit dangerous when Ronan gets very sick, and they are several days' journey away from any sort of help. So we talked about in the episode how Ronan and Teyla's relationship is quite balanced, and they both help each other out, and they're both, emotionally there for one another, and this fic just continues on in the same vein. So if you want more of that stuff, definitely take a look. And last but not least, in honor of the Bechdel test and what it's truly all about, I have Fell in Love with a Girl by Dan Varesk, another writer who I enjoy all of their Atlantis fic. This one, very special. On a mission to meet an all-women settlement, Shepard, McKay, and Ronan, of course, get themselves incarcerated, while Teyla tries to get them out and fight a growing infatuation with the expedition's psychologist, Kate Heitmeyer. Yes, very good fic. If you are at all interested in Sapphic Teyla or Heitmeyer Teyla, take a look. It's good.
Oh, that's really interesting because I think they are, like, not a big ship because no offense, that ship is big in Stargate, but
Boo,
I
should
think
be
they're
big.
they're kind of a thing.
Yeah, they have a lot of scenes together because Kate is the ship therapist. Besides the unethicalness of that, though, I think it's really interesting. Hey! And yeah, that's all for me for the Fic Rec Corner.
I love it. Thank you so much. All those sound so good, and of course you can read them linked down below, and you can also see the Google Doc we have of all of Tor's lovely fic recommendations. So, we have the results of 2 polls to share today. We have both of the returns, and we'll start with the return part 1, and the question was, do you think Teyla shares the belief the Athosians have in the ancients/ancestors? And the result was, it's more complicated, with 52% of the votes choosing that option. And then we have no, not since joining AR1 with 26%. And then we have yes with 11%, and no, not even before joining AR1 with 11% as well. So we have a tie for third, and with first place being it's more complicated.
Nice. I like that. I like there's complexity in there.
I think we have to agree.
Yeah.
It is complicated.
It's definitely complicated.
Love that. And the next one we have is the return part 2, and the question was, what province is Rodney from? And this one was quite a multiple choice. So I'll just read out the top 4. I'll do top 4 most voted. And so we have Ontario tying with British Columbia for first with 30% for both. And then we have Alberta coming in third with 21%. And then we have Saskatchewan? Is that how you say it? Okay, I'm just gonna leave that in. Funny, it's funny because I'm not Canadian. With 10% for 4th place.
I'm biased, so I'm going to say Ontario. But
Obviously.
I will trust whatever Tor says, so yeah, I'm Team Ontario, but I would love to know what the thoughts were, though, like if there's any like evidence for why people were voting Ontario over British Columbia, but that's for another day.
Oh, I think it was because the Sears Drama Festival took place in Ontario, and not in BC. But a lot of people think that Rodney's from BC because of, I think, another canon reason, but also because they film there primarily. So all like the shots
Okay.
of like Genie and stuff is like
Oh.
BC.
That's funny. That's
Yeah.
funny. I like that. Thanks for jumping in, our resident Canada expert. Which means we can now head over to the ratings for this episode.
Oh.
Which honestly, I can go first. I think this is a 10. I think I'll be very generous today. I'm feeling very generous. Listen, I love character moments, and this episode is just chock full. We didn't even talk about, but like Elizabeth and Carson had like a really sweet moment. Like, I don't know, just I feel like every pairing, even some rare pairings, got some fun interactions, like with the whole Ronon and Zelenka. But definitely the standout of this episode was the teyla and Ronon dynamic being put in full front and full force, and I really appreciated seeing just all sides of their relationship. And it's just nice to be on Atlantis. We get some funny bits, although I will say I do feel like ghosts could have been an actual thing on Atlantis. I'm kind of sad that the ghosts weren't real.
True.
Because I do feel like ghosts should have been haunting the hell out of that place. Like, this Atlantis should be haunted. Like, you should be terrified walking down the hallways.
Haunted AF.
Yeah, that's my own personal headcanon. But anyways, I love this episode so much. It's just, it radiates comfort. It's kind of like the perfect episode just to put on if you just want to, like, enjoy a low stakes episode with the team. So, yep, can't complain. 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna complain a tiny bit. I'm gonna say that first. So, oh well, no. Okay, no. I'm gonna go first with what I love. I love this episode. It's one of my favorites. I like that it's a standalone episode, and yet it kind of ties into the canon, into the ancient stuff. I think we didn't really go into that too much, but we do get a little bit of like ancient lore, which I enjoy, and it's not the bad one for once. A little bit like Janus, it's just like fun stuff and not terrible stuff that the ancients did pre-Ascension, I believe. I love the Ronon and teyla. I love the John and Rodney. I love the Elizabeth, obviously. Ronon and Radek. Like, yeah, all the characters really, really shine in this episode, and the characters' relationships. I love that we see a lot of women in important roles. I love that we see the whales again, and I'm just gonna headcanon that they like fly as well. Like, that's a no-brainer. Yeah, and then what I didn't like was the pairing off once again, that we didn't get like a scene, like a team scene, that the white man once again saved the day with the Daedalus and Rodney and John, even though teyla and Elizabeth did a lot in the beginning, I think. But those are more structural issues that I have, like, generally with Atlantis, because, like, that's always the problem, so it feels a little bit mean to criticize it about this episode as well. But it's still there, so I think I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
Fair. Honestly, my gut is telling me to give it a 10. I really just love how it's the perfect first episode back from mid-season two-parter, where every character really gets to shine in some way, whether it be their personality, their relationships with other characters, they're servicing the plot in an interesting way that serves their character as well. teyla, thankfully, for once. And I think it really shows off how everyone on Atlantis is essential to Atlantis. And how they need to work as a team for things to really get done. And it was such a fun, whimsical episode. I love episodes that are set on Atlantis only, because, like you were saying at the top of the episode, Sam, Atlantis is such a mysterious place that does not get explored enough in the later seasons, I think. And so it's nice to have a bottle episode that's just on Atlantis and as a fun little romp. And so, yeah, I'm going to give it a 10 too.
Honestly, let me backtrack. I'm also giving it a 10 out of 10.
Yay!
What?
Yeah,
We're all in agreement.
It deserves it, yeah.
This calls for champagne, which we don't have, but like let's just give it up. Round of applause.
Yay!
We all have the same opinion.
Woohoo!
Take a shot if you're listening to this. This never happens, so enjoy it.
Yes.
And well, there's no better way to end it, I fear. That was excellent. Be sure to check out everything linked down below. You can find our wonderful fic recs that Tor gave us, and again, the Google Doc for our previous fic recs. And you can also see our Jumping Puddles social media accounts, so you can see when we post episode and when we post polls, so be sure to be on top of that so you can get in and get your voice heard on this podcast. And you can also see our private, or not private, but like our other fandom-y social media accounts if you want to see what fandoms we are currently into. Tune in next time for Irresponsible.
Ooh.
And thanks for hanging out with us today.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, you clowns, listen up. I don't often get a chance to say this, so savor it. Good work, boys and girls. Let's go home.